Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar today. Let us wait for a few more minutes until others can join us. I see that more people are joining, so let us begin. Today we are going to introduce you to Xopero Unified Protection. I'll give you an idea of what it is, what is the model range, and what licensing do we use for it. So this is another product in our offer. You might know that we spoke about Xopero One previously, and today we're going to cover Xopero Unified Protection, or XUP, which is what we call it. Having said that, I just want to take a brief moment to introduce myself to those of you who might not know me yet. My name is Sergey. I'm a business development manager here at Xopero Software. I'm responsible for our international partnerships, developing the network of our partners and distributors, as well as keeping in touch with you all and support you in any possible way, along with my colleague Jakub. I'm really glad you're all here today, and I get to tell you some new stuff about backup and best practices, business continuity, and backup innovations. So hello to everyone who's never heard of us. Some of you are new. Some of you work with us for a long time already. So to those of you who don't have my contact details yet, you can find them on this page. So feel free to contact me by email, reach me on LinkedIn, or by phone, whatever works best for you. One more thing when it comes to organizational matters, if you have any questions, the chat is available, so feel free to ask your questions during the presentation. I'll try to answer them after or during the Q&A session, or during the presentation. If for any reason I do not ask your question, we will get back to you, and I'll contact you by email with post-webinar communication. Okay, so let's get started. I'll allow myself for a brief company introduction for those of you who are new on these webinars. So we've been active on the market for over 15 years. We're a backup solution provider from Poland, based in Gorzów. For those years, we have been creating, developing, and supplying our solution to make sure we offer you the best backup software to fit your needs and expectations. Yeah, by the way, if you could write me in the chat if you can hear me well, so I have any feedback. Okay, so with over 1 million devices protected for thousands of customers in over 60 countries worldwide, we can safely say that we continue to grow and expand our presence on the global markets. A few words about security, which we treat extremely seriously. Not only we take care that our backup solution is as secure as possible, but we also have very high standards for ourselves. We are ISO 27001 certified and SOC 2 Type 1 and Type 2 certified. We put great attention to data processing and how the data is processed inside our company. All that to provide the top security features to our customers. Today it will be my pleasure to tell you a bit about the architecture and how to store the backups. So we will be going over security, as this is the one of the most important things when it comes to backup, and backup is done in the first place. When it comes to our top partners, we are in constant communication with ESET, as we are a part of ESET Technology Alliance program, which basically means that we are the only backup and disaster recovery solution recommended by ESET. Some of our other partners that are worth mentioning here are for sure Wasabi, provider of our Xopero cloud storage, T-Mobile and Orange, so two huge telecom companies that offer our cloud backup solution to their customers, as well as Atlassian and GitHub. As with them, we work to provide backup for DevOps environments. That's another product, backup product from us, called Git Protect, which will not be our main focus today, but we can always schedule some individual demo for you if you are interested in backup solution for DevOps environments. Lotos Petro Baltic, one of the biggest customers we have. It's a Polish company that specializes in drilling rigs out on the open seas. NetGuru, the biggest software house in Europe, based in Poland, is also one of our prestigious clients. They actually use Git Protect, which I mentioned a few seconds ago. When it comes to international implementations, it's surely worth to mention Gladstone Institutes, who actually renewed their licenses for another year recently. Wharton University of Pennsylvania, or Hardy Country Schools, one of our latest and largest customers from the USA. British NHS is here to prove that we also are trusted by the medical sector, and recently we gain more and more customers among hospitals and also health clinics. Okay, so let's move to what is actually our main concern today. So backup strategies, what it looked like before, what's hot now, and what might be a new breakthrough in the field. How it all changed over the years. The 3-2-1 backup strategy was the most wanted scenario for years. It was something we all wanted to achieve and something that actually gave us a peace of mind. Does it still? What were the principles of that rule? Store 3 copies of your data on 2 different media with at least 1 copy offsite. And how it is now? The 3-2-1 backup rule. Why is 3-2-1 backup is a thing of the past? It is stated that the 3-2-1 backup rule, which involves storing 3 copies of data, 2 on different media and 1 on external media, no longer proves sufficient data protection due to advances in technology and the fact that it was invented, first implemented very long time ago, first described in a book written by Peter Grove in 2009. Had to be handled manually, so had low read-write times for data, and the desire to isolate copies to another location involved transporting them manually, in practice having to pay extra for transporting and storing the copies in a dedicated environment. Following the trends, the 3-2-1 backup strategy does not guarantee full protection and automation of the entire backup process. Our 2 previous webinars, which I hope you've seen already, go into more detail about the 3-2-1 backup strategy, why exactly it is no longer as up to date as it once used to be, and what are the better alternatives such as the 32110 and 432 backup strategies. A brief recall through for those of you who might have not attended the previous webinars dedicated to this topic. So the 32110 rule, what is all about? The 32110 backup strategy assumes that first, we should have at least 3 versions of our data. Secondary, 2 versions of the data should be on the different types of storage. 1 copy should be in a different location. 1 copy should be offline, stored in what is called immutable storage, the data provider's cloud. For example, in our case, Xopero Cloud. This strategy also implies that we should constantly make sure that the data is restorable and the media is error-free. So it enforces testing the backup regularly, which is, I believe, one of the most important things you should be taking into account. Always test your backups. Otherwise, you can be happy that you've done it. After testing, you can be proud they actually work and you can rely on them when the time comes you actually need to restore the data. The 432 rule. What is the 432 rule, backup rule or backup strategy is all about? It assumes that we should have at least 4 versions of our data. The data should be in 3 different locations. At least 2 copies should be in a different location than the organization's main office. For example, you have a NAS in a separate company location and the data provider's cloud, immutable storage, Xopero Cloud, for example. When it comes to innovations in the backup software itself, there are a few technologies that can make our software stand out from the rest and make the whole process, backup process, a lot easier and more convenient. First of them being the duplication. The duplication is a process that allows us to save storage space that is needed to store our data. The technology means that data is cut to individual blocks of individual sizes, and those particular blocks are there compared to each other. In case of Xopero software, the duplication is done on the source, so the agent, the app that does the backup, and all the other stuff also that duplicates the data before it sends it to the storage. This way, not only do our customers save the storage space, but they also save their bandwidth as they send less data to the storage. In ideal environments, the application can save their bandwidth as they send less data to the storage. In ideal environments, the application can save us even 90–95% of storage space. So thanks to the application, we use a lot less storage space than we are able to recover from those data. Another thing, replication. As I mentioned, we had different backup strategies which all include replication. Thanks to replication, we can save time as we don't have to do the backup all over again. It's enough to just replicate it from one place to another. And for example, be compliant with the 321 rule. So production data, our local backup, and 3 backup replica in the cloud. So you don't have to create a huge number of backups, do some and replicate them to different locations. Adjust your backup strategy to your environment and infrastructure. Use Xopero Cloud Storage to keep your backups and replicas. Next, we have encryption, so protection of unauthorized access to our data. There are lots of regulations that stress how important it is to protect your data from unauthorized access. GDPR, just to name one of them. Not only should we protect our data on the devices themselves, but it's also crucial and necessary to encrypt your backups and do not let anyone unauthorized access the data that we store in there. What we offer in Xopero is not only encryption of the data on the source, so again, before sending it to the storage, that way the data transferred through the network is secure, even for the time of the transfer itself, not only when it reaches the safe haven, which is the storage. But we also offer something called zero knowledge encryption, which basically means that the agent that does the backup and the encryption doesn't have access to the encryption keys. That access is only granted by the management console for the time of encryption, the backup, and the keys are withdrawn from the agent. This way, even if someone unauthorized accesses your endpoint or server, they will not be able to get our encryption keys as they are safely stored in our secure password manager. But speaking of the management console, it's really important to say how relevant to the whole system the management and reporting are. We all want our backup system to be doing our backups. But a well-designed backup system should require as little configuring and maintenance as possible. So almost like a setup and forget solution. So just configure your backup and retention policy in a way that our storage never gets overcrowded and you're good to go. Later, we only need some reports on how the system is doing and be happy to see that all of those reports ensure us that everything works like clockwork. Another thing is to have a centralized management system, something that we offer in Xopero One, as even the name of the product tells you. One console for every need of the customer. So you have one console to manage backup of endpoints, servers, virtual environments, M365, DevOps tools, and so on. Everything packed into one user-friendly interface to make your life easier. From the level of our management console, we also see our storages. And in case of Xopero One, we are talking about the multi-storage system. So not only we allow you to replicate your backups to other storages, but you can use many different types of storages in one instance and mix them all within one instance. For example, you can use S3 protocol to use any public cloud. You can use our Xopero Cloud Storage. You can also use any NAS device with our white protocol support and any local storage, as well as all of them in different configurations that you would prefer. All those backup strategies lead us to the point where our data that we keep on those various storages devices are safe. Backup is actually our last resort. Only our backup, if done correctly, stored safely and regularly tested, can guarantee a successful recovery of our environment after various disasters, for example, ransomware. I don't know if you know the statistics. You can now see on your screen that only 16% of those who decided to pay the ransom were able to actually decrypt their data. At the same time, a horrifying amount of 84% of those who paid were unable to do that. So now only they lost their money due to downtime, um, possible loss of trust by their customers, etc. But they also lost more when they paid the ransom. So we can't count on the integrity and sincerity of those who break into our infrastructure and encrypt our data. It's like believing that someone who lied to you 100 times speaks the truth for 101st. I mean, it's possible, but unlikely, especially as those data, even if were successfully recovered, are usually sold on the black market or compromised in other ways. And now let us focus on the main topic of our today's meeting. So our software, Xopero One. The name is not a coincidence. One means that everything we will be talking about in a moment is available for you from the level of one management console to make life simpler for you. I'll just focus on the middle of the slide, on the blue icons depicting our two possible deployment models. As said, all in one console, but it is up to you how that console will be deployed. Our Xopero management console can be installed on premise, so in your customer's infrastructure, but also hosted by us in the cloud. That console gives you power all over backup plans with your infrastructure. Then moving on to the left, you can see the second element of our solution, the agent. So the app is that actually does the backup and the platforms that we protect. We offer protection for both physical and virtual environments. Physical starting with endpoints through servers and databases, virtual VMware and Hyper-V, and also Microsoft 365 accounts. Endpoints, so Windows, Linux, Mac servers, they will include Windows or Linux servers. As for databases, we support MySQL, MS SQL, Firebird, PostgreSQL, and Oracle. Virtual environments, VMware from the host level and Hyper-V from the level of VMs. We can back up any other virtualizators, of course, from the level of VM using our agent. M365 Exchange, so emails, contacts, calendars, and OneDrive. As for the DevOps, we can back up GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and Jira. We also always support OSs a few versions back. So for example, Windows 7 and newer, Mac OS 10.13 and newer, Microsoft Server 2008 and newer, and most popular distributions of Linux. To give you an idea of what's coming, we are now developing the SharePoint and Teams backup. Also granular backup for Jira, and Confluence is coming by the end of Q3. So it will be available pretty soon. Now on to the right. Two things to remember from that, or even three. Our solution supports multiple types of storages, local, NAS, cloud storages. We offer our own Xopero cloud storage. It is licensed per 100 gigabytes of storage, and that is the only way for you to pay for storing data with our solution. We do not charge you for storing your data anywhere else. And the best thing, you can mix many storage types within one instance. So for example, you can back up your files locally and then replicate them to the cloud or another NAS device. You can also set your own policies of backup and backup different devices to different kinds of storages. So we are very flexible when it comes to that. Keep in mind that it does not matter which deployment model you choose. You get the same functionalities included in the price. And speaking of functionalities, I'd like to focus now on something new, as I mentioned in the very beginning of our webinar. So that this is Xopero Unified Protection. It's another product in our offer, and let us know more information of what it is. It's a new product in Xopero offer, which responds to a great many requests we've been getting from our partners, from our customers. both in Poland and abroad. Many of our customers wanted to have a dedicated backup appliance. So after a long research and even longer tests of the solution, our team created one unified solution to answer those requests. We are the manufacturer of Xopero Unified Protection. I think this question might be asked in a second, if not there already. Hardware components are provided to us by Dell, so we're talking about top hardware quality. But that's not just any Dell matrix or server. It is our solution crafted specifically for us and for backup purposes, backed up with our technology. First of all, it covers needs of our customers. A lot of times we've been asked to help with selecting the right hardware to install our management console in case of on-premise deployment, or to help with storage configuration and so on. So Xopero Unified Protection is the answer to all these questions. It's an all-in-one solution that is pre-configured and instantly ready to operate. This means that it will work in a classic plug-and-play mode. All you need to do during the implementation is to unpack, plug it in your network, distribute agents among your devices, and set up your backup plan, or use a predefined backup plan included in the software. In case of Xopero Unified Protection, the management console is installed on the device, and by default, the device is also your target storage. And most importantly, that it's not a hardware backup appliance. I mean, it's a way more than just a hardware backup appliance. Hardware layer is specifically designed to be integrated with our software, and thanks to that, entire solution guarantees the highest level of performance and reliability among with advanced security features. So that is by far the best way to perform Xopero backup available. Thanks to that, both backup and restore tasks are done faster, and you can be sure that the backups of your customers are consistent and possible to be restored. Of course, we put a lot of attention to security, so the data is stored in non-executable form. As I mentioned before, when talking about Xopero 1, and of course, Xopero Unified Protection storage is built with write once, read many policy, thus giving you the best possible ransomware protection for your backups. One of your first things may be, okay, but that is hardware after all, it has to be shipped. What's the delivery time from order to implementation? And I'll tell you that availability of the solution is one of the advantages we can be proud of. On Polish market, we can provide the devices even within 2 business days from order to placement, which is, you must admit, quite remarkable. As you are from different countries and may have different delivery times, we can still guarantee the delivery of to be done within 2 weeks. Though usually it will be faster. So within 1 week from placing the order, your customers can start using the world-class unified protection appliance. The reason you can see 21 days here on the slide is that each year, at the end of the year, we have a period called the fourth quarter, which, as you all know, is absolutely crazy. And then the delivery times might be something longer than usual. Still, I think it will never take those 21 days, but as you can understand, we have to give you some guarantees that we will be able to fulfill even in the worst case scenario. The solution also includes automatic updates so that you can be sure that you're always up to date with all the new features in our software, and most importantly, you don't need to manually install the updates. Our device, as I said before, is specifically designed for our software and not only secure thanks to that, but also airtight. It's practically cut from any network traffic for most of the time and only opens for the time of sending the backup. Because as you know by now, our agents send data directly to storage. There is no vulnerability for any types of malware or ransomware. Okay, so let's move closer to an end of this part, just a few more features, which are also great advantages that are worth mentioning today. Appliance recovery. Every Xopero Unified Protection device has two NVMe hard drives, which are used to install the management console on them. Those are the fastest and most reliable and efficient hard drives available. In case of the failure of one of them, you always have the other. So automatically you have your console and you have a guarantee of business continuity. Instant restore means that you can run a disaster recovery of the machines that you've backed up on any machine within your network, including your Xopero Unified Protection. Our solution allows you to run a VM on it as a disaster recovery. In this case, your customers get minimum downtime and can continue to work until the issue is resolved and they can return to operating completely normal. And last but not least, scalability. As we all know, hardware can have some limitations, the most important being, in our case, storage space that you have. So if the customer reaches the point where they need additional storage to keep their backups, we give you the possibility to cluster our devices and increase the storage capacity in that way. So again, flexibility. We give you options to choose from to adapt the solution to your needs. So here we have desktop models. We have both desktop models and we have rack installations. For desktop models, you can see here that we have a wide range, differing from the size, storage space, starting from 4 terabytes to 12 terabytes. Also, they regarding the rack mounted models, we have the smallest one which will take 1 unit and others which will take 2 units. What is important and will probably be asked about, all the devices come with on-site next business day warranty. The hard drives, in case of failure, will remain at your customer's site. So we, Xopero Software, are the ones that provide support and warranty replacements. Please don't try to do any repairs or replacements on your own, as this will cause, of course, the loss of warranty. I won't go through every detail of hardware specification. I will just share the specification comparisons after the meeting. So as I mentioned, either for rack models or desktop models, we have a wide range which can satisfy the needs of your different types of customers. And as I said, the hardware is designed especially for us, and it is all assembled and manufactured by us. So we still keep one of our biggest advantages, which is flexibility. When a customer buys Xopero Unified Protection, they need to obviously buy the device itself and at least one of 3 available support models. So you can choose from silver, gold, and platinum. You always get support, updates, and on-site next business day warranty. If you choose gold maintenance, additionally, you get the feature of replication. So unlimited replication of your backups in case of Xopero Unified Protection that is available when choosing gold support level. Platinum maintenance gives you everything we talked about and additional cloud storage. That 20% is calculated from the capacity of the chosen device. So for example, I mentioned that the smallest device has 24 terabytes of storage capacity when we're talking about rack models. 20% of that is 4.8 terabytes. So when buying the smallest rack mounted Xopero Unified Protection device, you get 24 terabytes of local storage and around 5 terabytes of cloud storage to store your backups as well. Of course, it is our Xopero Cloud Storage, so it's immutable. It's also designed specifically for storing backups and so on. It has all the features we discussed earlier. And here is the question: have you ever had a breakdown that paralyzed your environment? I believe that many of your customers faced such a situation. Also, do you have your own disaster recovery procedure? And the answers to those questions are business continuity, and only your disaster recovery plan can guarantee recovering your data in the least possible time. But before we dive into that, let us take one step back and make it clear that disaster recovery is in the first place. So disaster recovery is a process and strategy to minimize the impact of disasters, failures, or other major incidents that may threaten the continuity of an organization's operations. Disaster recovery encompasses a holistic approach to restoring the operation of IT systems, recovering data and other critical resources, and ensuring the organization's operational continuity after a disaster or emergency situation happens. A disaster recovery plan is a document that describes the procedures and steps to be taken to restore normal operation of systems after a disaster or emergency. And the implementation of the disaster recovery plan is a key element in managing risk and ensuring the organization's business continuity. With this plan in place, an organization can minimize the risk of data loss and financial loss and increase its resilience to threats from failures or disasters. First of all, what is RPO and RTO? How to improve a disaster recovery plan by knowing the RPO and RTO times. So RPO, which is the recovery point objective, and RTO, which is the recovery time objective, are two key parameters that determine how quickly and how accurately systems must be restored to business continuity after a disaster or failure. Knowing the RPO and RTO times can improve your disaster recovery plan in the following ways. Optimize procedures. Knowing the RTO, you can optimize the procedures for restoring systems to reduce the recovery time. You can also prioritize the restoration of individual systems and applications to minimize the impact of a disaster on the organization's operations. Data backups. Knowing the RPO, you can adjust the frequency of data backups to meet your organization's requirements. You can also increase the number of restore points to allow data to be restored to a more current state. DR plan tests. So knowing the RTO and RPO, disaster recovery plan tests are to be conducted to see in the plan if the plan is effective enough and meets the organization's requirements. Such tests can include failure simulations to identify areas for improvement and verify that disaster recovery plan is in line with your RTO and RPO requirements. All of the above will help tailor the disaster recovery plan to the organization's requirements and increase its effectiveness in ensuring the continuity of its systems after a disaster or failure. So what does Xopero Unified Protection offer? You can back up from an unlimited number of workstations, servers, and virtual environments. This is important to know, you don't need any other license in this case, because you can add an unlimited number of physical machines or virtual machines to your backup task. Support for replication to your own data storage, either cloud or local storage. On-site next business day delivery from next business day warranty from 1 year to 5 years. Rack mounted, so it can be also desktop version or rack models. It's regarding the available storage for backups, starting from 24 terabytes and above. And of course, deployment. It's easy, it's pre-configured, and it uses the plug and play model. And let us move to the questions if you have. I see that there are some questions in the chat. So that is pretty much it for today. Let me check the questions from the chat. Okay, good question from Kostas. What is the estimated launch year for SharePoint and Teams integration? Let me quickly check this with our R&D team. So basically, in which version should this be added? I'm checking this. So expect it in Q4 by the end of this year. Normally, it's an approximate date as of now. So another question: is there any plans to introduce agent upgrade through Xopero One platform? I saw this. Well, for sure, I saw this in the backlog. I'm just trying to check for in which version this will be available. But Costas is I can confirm that it is under development right now. Unfortunately, I don't have any ETA. Maybe my colleagues will provide me some more information, and probably if I have more details, or when I have more details, um, I'll reply to you by email, since I don't have any feedback from them now. Okay. Let us check some other questions. So I believe no other questions at the moment. And as I mentioned, we can always schedule a meeting, a call. So we will be glad to answer your questions on the upcoming features, etc. Or the feature requests. Kostas, thank you for this question. Please just send it to me or to Jakub if you have his email. I believe you do, and we will then communicate with the colleagues. So it's either me or Jakub. You can write to me directly. I cover those markets as well, so I'll make sure to involve my colleagues and to give you a reply. Okay, so thank you everyone. I hope this webinar was brought you some interesting insights and provided you some additional information on our Xopero Unified Protection product. And I'll be glad to see you on our next webinars. By the way, we have a few planned for next month. I believe we also have plans for August as well. So our webinars are regular, and I hope to see all of you during the next webinars. Wishing you a great and productive day. Thank you very much for your attention. See you. Bye bye.